Well, it's taking the most stress from the nature of the deformity. Right.
Hey, we ready? All right, it's 6 o'clock. We'll call our meeting to order. Our first meeting is our annual organizational board meeting, so we'll call that to order. Do I have a motion for the approval of the agenda for that organizational meeting? We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign. Agenda's approved. We need to review our fiscal year 2022 depository statements. So Julie, do you have any comments to make on those, or are they pretty self-explanatory?
Pretty self-explanatory. Unless you all have questions.
We still have, so if you're looking at the construction accounts. We have right at, as of now, like right around 40,000 in there now, and so Michael and I were talking about that. Earlier today, we've discussed it a few times, but I would like to get that used up sooner than later. And so we may end up using it for the beginning of the safety and security renovations that will go with the grant. I don't want to steal your thunder, so I won't say too much, but we now can start purchasing as soon as we get the plans from them. So it's basically just, you know, taking one from the other. So if I use this up sooner than later, I would rather do that. So that's probably what will happen.
And it'll go into the building, so it would be
So, yes, so it wouldn't draw.
correct use of the funding.
Right, right.
Do any of the board members have any questions on the depository statements? We have a motion to approve our fiscal year 2022 depository statements.
So,
We have a
second.
motion and a second. Roll call on that.
Debbie Meyer.
Yes.
Colette Kunkel. Kim Tiki.
Yes.
John Martha.
Yes. Okay, our next item is unfinished business. Do we have any unfinished business, Michael, for the year? Okay. We'll move on to adjourn our organizational board meeting. Do I have a motion to adjourn? We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign. Organizational board meetings adjourned. We'll now move into our regular board meeting. We'll call that meeting to order. Our first item on the agenda is the election of a board president. Does anybody have any nominations for board president this year?
Yes, I would like to nominate Corey Robinson.
Okay, we have a nomination for Corey Robinson for board president. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Do we have any other nominations for board president? Do we have a motion for nominations to cease? We have a motion for nominations to cease. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye. Those same sign. Nominations are ceased for board president. So now we'll go through the formality of electing the board president. We have one nominee, Corey Robinson. All in favor of Corey for board president, aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Congratulations, Corey, you're a new board president. And we didn't railroad him, we've talked to him beforehand, so he's good with it, just because he's not here tonight.
What happens when you?
Yeah.
I'm back from vacation now, huh?
So,
Can we take a moment to just thank John?
Yeah.
I mean, how many years has it been, John?
7 or 8, I think.
Feels like
I think it's when you came on the board, Kim, so probably you know better.
2015.
Okay.
8.
Thanks for your numbers, girl.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate, you've been through some hard patches on the board and led through some tough times and through the building and through COVID and all of it. And I, for one, really appreciated having you as our board president.
It's been good. It's been interesting. I'm proud of the projects we've got accomplished while I was board president. So we have our new high school and new commons here in the middle school and our multi-purpose building, and a lot of good things have happened.
Got through the derecho.
We got through the derecho. We got through COVID. I think so.
Were you the president through the CMB?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, Lord, that seems like a long.
Yeah, that was before my time. I
Yeah.
was just a mom then.
All that other stuff's kind of made me forget about that,
Yeah.
but yeah, so there's been a lot of changes. I think a lot of them are positive, so I feel good. So I feel good turning it over to Corey. He's been on the board. He got his feet under him. He's got kids in school yet, so I think he'll be an excellent board president. So I'm happy for him, and I'll continue to support him, and I'll support all. I mean, I thank our board. We've had a good board to work with the whole time I've been on the board and as president. So we always come to a consensus and what's right for the kids, and we just always have to remember that, look through the lens of what's best for the kids. So
Thanks for.
thank you. So
We'll probably take some additional action in December when Corey comes back.
that's the other thing tonight, as far as Corey asked me to go ahead and finish this meeting out. So if that's okay, I would accept a motion that allow me to finish this meeting out, and then Corey will take over in this December meeting. So
Your swan song, John.
yeah. So do we have a motion to that effect?
Yes, so moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion's approved. Okay, we'll move into the approval of our agenda. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda? Do we have a motion to approve the agenda? We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye. Those same sign. Agenda's approved. Okay, our first item on this is to adopt the procedures, date, and time for our regular board meetings. Is there any comments from the board or staff on that? Seems to work. I guess I'm okay with where we have been, 6 o'clock and
I really like it
Wednesdays.
personally, because I never miss anything, and the kids, the time works good too, so.
Is 5, if we moved it to 5, is that too early for you to get home from work?
Honestly, it would be.
Okay, because everybody else works in town now, right? Or you work
Unless-
remotely?
Unless
but
it's for everybody, I
Oh,
have to
for
leave
sure.
early every
No.
time we did it.
No, that, we don't need you then. I just wondered if 5 did, if 6 was, like, if 5 would work, we could move it up. If it doesn't, we don't need to at all.
Okay, I'll do it.
What time do you usually?
I get off about 4:30 or 5, so I could go in earlier and leave.
No.
If it's better for the group, it's,
Oh, no.
Hmm.
I mean, 6 o'clock is fine.
okay,
It's way better than 7. 'cause then we've
yeah,
got-
yeah.
And we're just home earlier, but 6 is totally fine.
as long as you're sure that's fine. I can make anything work.
No, we're fine.
I'm really happy with Wednesdays.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so if I hear right, we're okay with keeping it on the third Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m. We'll use Robert's Rules of Order to run the meetings. Is there anything else we need to cover on that? Somebody like to make a motion to that effect?
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? All in favor, aye. Pose same sign. Motion's approved to continue our meetings on the third Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m. Okay, we'll move into our consent items. Do any board members have any questions or comments on those?
Yep, so every year, about this time of year, after our CAR is done, they do an audit of our building, how many employees we have, how many work comp issues we have. Just they, they go
So
through the
it's
whole
their
thing.
own audit.
It's
I mean,
their own
that
audit,
is
it's theirs,
frustrating.
they,
It costs that much?
no, that was the insurance increase compared to actuals compared to what they estimated ahead of time. So you're sort of like a year behind with the type of premiums that you pay. So the premium that we've already paid for this year was actually based on last year's experiences.
Right.
Well, now that they have the actual experiences, they had to adjust that dollar amount.
Okay.
And so that's what, it wasn't for the actual audit itself.
Okay.
It was, and actually, I think, was it 5,000 or just under 5? The majority of it was work comp. So. But in general, insurance went up unbelievably this year, over $30,000.
Including building insurance or,
Yep, building insurance,
and
work comp.
I suppose the
Personal.
ratio didn't help anything on that
Didn't
because
help.
we've had claims, so.
Right, and then those claims were so expensive because of, the materials and the labor and all that
Right.
stuff. But normally our increases are, if we have an increase, it may be 5,000 to 10,000. And it was over 30,000, and now it's almost 40,000 with the audit that we had, so. Our management firm took a hit.
Mhm. I have just a general question, Julie, on and maybe you don't know for sure, but like Alliant or electric bill, have you noticed increases in
We were
that?
Today.
just talking about it.
Okay.
So in 1 month, we had like a $8 to $10,000 increase. I think it was from September to October. And I hope that doesn't continue on each month. I don't think that it will, but yes, we are way ahead. Yeah, and even our gas, which we're pretty minimal on our gas. We have 3 bills on our gas. We have the school, the shop, and the bus fund. And they're pretty minimal. Maybe just like water heaters is all. But I can still tell an increase in that, but because it's so minimal,
Mhm.
you're not. gonna
It's not
see
big
it.
dollars.
No, it's not big dollars.
I just wondered, because I mean, they're talking about increase in electric rates and.
Yeah, I've noticed it over, I really thought we were done increasing because it really increased last year. And I thought we were done. I was hoping we were done. And so it really shocked me when it went from 1 month to the very next month. It was such a big increase.
What do we approve gas bids or whatever, is that
Spring.
okay.
Yeah. But it's really just our LP, the fuel for the buses. and
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that. It's not natural gas
Yeah.
because we only have one natural gas provider here.
Yeah.
There is a co-op, so to speak, through IASB that contacts Michael all the time, and they think, you know, just selling their thing, they think that they can, you know, do a better job. While our bills are just so minimal that it just doesn't even pay them switched over. So Black Hills Energy would still provide it, but then it's contracted out, and and then it goes to the co-op, and but I actually, just because I needed to know for myself that I wasn't overlooking something, I had one of them do it. One of the first years that it became available, they just said, you just have so little usage,
Yeah.
you know, that it just wouldn't even be worth it.
Any other questions on the consent items? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the consent items? We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign. Consent items are approved. Doesn't look like we have any correspondence.
Actually, we
Susie?
do.
Oh, we do, okay. Correspondence?
Yeah, I'll just read this. Okay. And Hash, you're gonna have to help me remember how much it was. This contribution is given in memory of our mom, Marlene Miller Meckley. Marlene was a 1950 Baxter graduate. She was active in the Glee Club and continued singing her whole life with the church choir, Sweet Adelines, and many weddings and funerals. Marlene also played the piano. When she stopped singing, music was always being played in her home and car. We are pleased to know that the gift will go to the new stage lighting. It will be enjoyed for many years to come. Many of her friends and relatives were part of this gift. The family of Marlene Meckley, all graduates of Baxter High School, and the letter is signed Marcia D, Risa Mallory, Greg Meckley, and Kevin Meckley. And so Mrs. D had contacted us and wanted to make a donation, and it was $1,500. And they donated that so that we could help get new lights for the stage so that we'd be able to use it for the concerts. So we're really excited. We're really thankful that they gave that generous gift. So I just wanted to, yeah, sure. I wanted to make sure we read that.
Do you want to?
And then we could add to.
Yeah, we also, Danielle, the bank, reached out and asked if there was something that they could help support us with, and that was on our brains at the time. So we mentioned the lights on stage being something that we wanted to do for not only our elementary, but high school and middle school concerts as well, and just be able to start to use that space a little bit more. And so they also gave $1,500 towards that project. So over the last 2 weeks, we've done and ordered those lights, and those will be in the next couple of weeks, and we'll get them set up and ready to go and have our concerts on December 12th and 15th, I believe, of next month. So excited for that, and appreciate the
Concerts have been on the stage.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, we're excited. And actually, Bill and Pam were able to rent a dumpster. John asked me about this the other day. They rented a dumpster and threw away gobs of stuff that has just been cluttering up the stage. And so it's just super clean and organized, and it looks great. And so we're thankful to the staff that took care of that as well. And then, you know, Rob and Zach for helping pick out the lights and these generous gifts. And I know that our music and band people are quite excited also about having this.
Concerts
We're hopeful.
They assured us we could have it. So
That's something Bill can install.
They're actually,
they're
yeah,
portable lights, so
Okay.
they'll be able to be moved for different occasions, right? So that was one of the things that we thought was a great feature, that we could use it in different spaces if we really needed to, but knowing that they're really meant for that. And then we also had Carrie come in today, I saw, and trying to work through some of the soundboard issues and using the microphones on the stage. So we're really trying to get ahead of it and be sure that it's ready to go for next month. But again, fingers crossed that everything goes smooth, but pieces are coming together.
I feel like the last time we used the stage is when Rob and Kristen did the love letters. Is that right?
I didn't
Wait.
think of that, but maybe it's- was
I
that on
feel
the
like there
stage?
was
I feel
maybe,
that was on the stage.
I think there was like a music, an elementary Christmas concert around the same time that the preschool, do you remember you and I went to that thing at the Elks Lodge or the Mason Lodge? Yeah, there was, they were trying to buy the preschool and we were trying to buy the preschool. There was a concert that night as well, and that was on the stage. Cause that was, I went to the concert and then dashed up to there.
And were you here when Rob and Kristen did the love letters?
I went to it. I don't remember if I was working here, or if I was just a parent here at
Yeah,
the time.
'cause
I don't
they-
remember.
they
They
did the
did it, so
dinner.
I think we went.
Yeah.
And I remember going to
Yeah.
it. So. Then a little bit anyway.
Yeah.
So it'll be a big fun evening. So
Yeah.
clear your calendar.
Kind of like a fun thing.
Right,
Yeah.
right. We'll have to like get a hype video made by that girl that made the ones for like football and basketball. Elementary music concert hype video.
Julie, can you send the thank you card to both of those parties?
For sure. Yep.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move into public forum. Sue?
Before I get into the information in my email, thank you very much for the clarification that Corey was not railroaded. Since I was not aware that this was coming, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, what's going on here? After all these years, you just get used to certain things are going ahead of time. So anyway, thank you for that. I sent some specific links for you so you could go directly to the websites. I furnished them in handouts before, but since the pandemic, got me started emailing them, I'm sure it's a whole lot easier to click on them now and go check them out. So one of them, of course, was the NAEP site, particularly where you could select a year that the assessments were given, select a topic, select a grade level. And I did include the last two in there so you could see that overall for the state of Iowa, yes, the scores, I think one of them stayed the same, the rest all dropped. But I thought the rankings were very interesting as to the effects, because some of the other states, of course, missed a lot more class time and everything. So I wanted to put that into some sort of context and perspective for you. And yes, if you go to that website, you can check out previous tests too, to kind of keep an eye on what the rankings were actually doing and the way they were going. So I wanted to make sure you had access to that. And then there are additional links on there for more details. But since Iowa has now redesigned their state education website, they also have a link on there to check out additional details of that. And the other link I wanted to make sure you had was for the PISA website for the international exams. And the reason was so you could take a look, they do include their curriculum content in addition to the scores. And I do not see that their 2022 scores are listed on there yet. But the year isn't over with yet, so maybe they'll get them on there at some point in time. But you could at least take a look at international standards with regard to curriculum content. That was my reason for including that for you to take a look at it. And I did get sort of a kick with regard to the state website with their redesign, because some of the language sounds like they're a little bit defensive, especially regarding the Iowa curriculum. But I have been emailing the members of the state board periodically for quite a number of years, and I've been including additionally this information. And I noticed they do have some on there too from the U.S. News periodic education reports with additional details on there, that include some of the information. And here again, links I've also provided for you in the past, going back when they started doing that, so you could see that students' skill sets, like from Iowa high school graduates, are ranked 40th in the country. They have a problem with completing higher ed. They may go a couple of grade levels, but they have some problems. So there are still some things that need to be addressed, but there are things in there that weren't on the state website, and they now got some links to some of the information in addition to expanded information. And if it helps you get a better sense, because not all schools are the same in Iowa, as to where Baxter stands with relationship to others, that's a lot of good things. But the last part that I wanted to get to, just touch on a little bit, here, because I'd like to get to it next time. I mentioned before that the university I teach for, now that they have all of their international standards in place and curriculum content and grading rubrics and all this stuff, is greatly expanding by even creating a whole new department. And I just found out last month, the department that I teach for is one for a pilot project. We're looking for additional support systems for students, because I'll get into it in more detail next time. But I wanted to kind of bring it up now because of where Baxter is at and what they're starting to do with these additional things. Here, now you're K-12, I'm, up at the university level. But everybody still has different life experiences and conditions, things going on in their life. And that, as you are learning and know, can affect a variety of things, including self-confidence, for heaven's sake. So I really like the fact that you included a specific example in the principal's report before. And if we could get some more of those to kind of get a sense of the things that you're noticing, and you can see that you're kind of getting these addressed. Granted, not all at once, it's a process taking place. I would really appreciate hearing that, and I would share some of the things that we're also putting into place at a higher level. Some of them may have aspects to, some of what you're doing may have aspects to what we're trying to do too, to help the students. And self-confidence is one thing. You pointed that out in your specific example that had to do with getting along with people. Doesn't that also apply maybe to schoolwork? Maybe you could certainly do it if you could mentally engage. Some self-confidence would also help. So that's the type of things that I kind of like to get into next time that we're working on, because it's been very definitely stated that's what we're doing. And that's definitely some things you're headed. So yes, if you and Rob could maybe come up with some examples just periodically to let us know how it's going. I think that would help expand the support system for the students, and maybe we could find additional ways for everybody to kind of work together to help them along. Anyway, that's the gist of where I was headed with the email information. So thank you for the time.
Thank you.
So.
Okay, we'll move into our business items. Principals reports. I think Rob provided a written one. So do you have anything to add to that, Michael?
No, and I don't know if he let you know, he had to go to Oklahoma. His dad is having surgery. And so he went down there today and he'll be back hopefully beginning of next week. Just depends on how it goes. But things are going well at the high school. I mean, I can't remember what his report said. Our biggest concern right now is just subs. There's just lots of sickness and lots of people gone. Like people are gone, their kids are sick. Their own children are sick. So it's just, that's just taxing our system. So it's tough.
Do you want me to share Rob's report or the
Sure.
things that he wanted to share?
Yeah.
specifically?
It'd be perfect.
Yeah. He wanted to first thank the FFA for providing all staff with t-shirts to promote our FFA week. We wanted to congratulate Cameron Russell for becoming our first ever Baxter diver, who placed 7th at the state meet last week, which was awesome. We got to watch it on live stream. It was cool. Jake Travis was named our district's defensive MVP in football. We had 3 cheerleaders at the state football or performing at state football for their all Iowa honor squad. Many of our band members went with Mrs. Flanagan to the Iowa Star Band Festival this past week. We took all of our 7th and 8th graders to COLA last week for a conference leadership day and speaker. Coach Pierce took 6 of our high school leaders to Wartburg for a state leadership day sponsored by the Iowa High School Athletic Association. And our state drill team, in 2 weeks, they will perform for our student body and get ready for their state presentation or performance. So things you have written down.
Thank you.
Did you share that with me?
He emailed it.
He just emailed this morning. I asked him what his things were on his notes, and I can definitely share that with you.
You don't have to quick typo. Just copy and paste it.
Okay, now your report, Zach.
Mhm. So I'll start. Sue, that was awesome. I appreciated reading through your stuff and on the numbers and the drops and percentages. That was interesting to me. So I appreciate you saying that. The conferences list we had at the last week in October, we had at the elementary 98% of participation of our families. We really strive for 100%, so we're still missing 4, but are still in contact with a couple to try and get those set up. So feel good with where we're at, but ultimately know that we want to get to 100%, and we'll do it again in the spring and try and get to that point. With that, I was just appreciative of what the teachers do to make sure that they're ready for those conferences. I always feel if I walk into one that they're purposely planned and know exactly what they want to tell our parents and let them know what's going on. So I'm just appreciative of their intentionality to the details of what's going on in the conferences and what they want to share. We have started some a math win, so we have reading win in place every single day that's scattered throughout our schedule. But we have started some pull-out opportunities in math. We look at that through our math screener. We did that a few weeks back. You remember I talked about it at the board at a previous board meeting. We gave a screener, basically gave us some kids that maybe were at risk or some things that we could maybe certain skills that we could focus in on. And so we've now found some time in a day to pull kids out to be able to provide those supports. It's just another layer of supports within our math. We have a 30-minute chunk of time every day for every grade level in reading, but now have a little bit of a piece of time for each grade level in math. So we feel good about what we're doing in math and the skills that we're trying to provide, and appreciative of Bree, our instructional coach, who's kind of led that start of that math win and the overseer of that entire program. 2 weeks ago, we had a teacher-led workshop. So part of our PL plan was being able to get our teachers in front of our own staff and providing things that they've learned at conferences or sharing out great things that they've done in their classrooms. We had our first one 2 weeks ago, and it went really well. We had 2 separate opportunities for our teachers to go and learn a different skill or something that was learned at our conference. It's just another opportunity for all of us to hear the things that we're doing when we leave the school to go to a conference. Here's what we took away from the conference, and this is how we can use it in our school to better ourselves. So a great opportunity for not only our teachers to lead, but hopefully build some efficacy in our building and try and show that we have great things happening and there's great people leading those things. So we thought that was a great switch to things that we're doing in our professional learning. Had a positive impact, and we'll do another one each trimester. So we'll hopefully have 3 of those opportunities throughout the year. Last Friday, we had our Veterans Day Assembly, which was awesome. It was a K-12 effort. Greg put on a great program. It was nice to see people get called down and put on old uniforms and those things. So a great production, and glad to see that everybody was involved in it. The elementary just got an email sent out about the giving tree. So we're looking into Christmas and starting that whole program and making sure that our families have the things that they need for Christmas. So we'll have that giving tree up in the elementary office over the next week or 2 weeks. And people will be able to come in and grab stars off of that tree to be able to provide things for Christmas.
So we're kind of going back to the previous that.
Not
Yes,
doing it.
correct.
Cards. but
Not get cards, going back to
Gifts and
correct,
present
correct.
and.
I took a little
wrapping.
bit of feedback on that, just kind of going back to that. I like that option too, opening something on Christmas Day.
Yep, good idea.
I've been in elementary PE and elementary music over the last month and a half, and I just have to say, I mean, Kyle and Whitney and PE, unbelievable things are happening there. I know I've mentioned in the high school, I'm telling you, the things that are happening in elementary are truly unbelievable. So I give kudos to them and what they're doing. The engagement is unbelievable, truly, with what they do. So super happy with them. Music today, as I was getting ready and we're preparing for that winter concert, and me trying to lead Deck the Halls and things like that, which is not my forte, I'll tell you, but was impressed with what they know now, and I'm excited for that concert. And then I was going to share the light situation and what's going on there. So we just really feel that we're ready to put on a great elementary music concert this year, and excited for it. And so what I got for some of the good things happening in our building.
With those donations for the stage lights, did that cover the cost of them, or? did
We had to pay about $500, which is a bargain. Yeah.
Wow. Really good.
Any other questions for Sam? Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, our next item is a cooperative agreement with Grinnell and BGM for swimming and diving.
So this is just a kind of a formality we've been sharing with them, and we just realized that we hadn't officially had the board meeting to approve it. So swimming actually is done, but swimming and diving, but we want to. You know, continue, want to make it official, so we just need to approve this.
But anybody have any questions on it?
Yeah.
I guess my, yeah,
Really is.
so they compete as Baxter, right?
Well,
Or they-
yeah, it's
or-
a joint team, so it's BGM, GMG Baxter.
BGM for now.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, Grinnell and Baxter, and I don't know if they're like.
So they compete on their
There's
team,
one
but it's
team.
supposed to individual event, right? Or,
So they're part of the Grinnell, they be a part of the Grinnell thing, but even when we got the state shirts, it said Grinnell, BGM, Baxter, had every one of the logos. And if you
Okay.
watched the live stream, it said the same thing, so that, you know, that they knew what schools were involved.
very
I think
good.
it's pretty common with swimming and diving too, and there's kids from GMG that swim for Marshalltown or West Marshall kids that swim Marshalltown. Newton's program is NCMP, so it's giving Colfax Mingo and Pella. So I think that's. Awesome. Yeah.
I was visiting with one of the moms of the swimmers, divers, and she just talked about, oh, it was so great, and just how much her daughter just loved it so much, and just what a great opportunity. And so I think it was Jen, and just how much the girls just loved it. So
Good.
That's an awesome opportunity for
Mhm.
kids.
And the parents, they provide the transportation.
yeah,
for
I think the parents
practice.
have kind of worked it out to carpool.
Do you think there'll be any boys swimmers or divers? I mean, because this would be for, this agreement would cover girls and boys, right? Because those are different time frames in the year.
We've had boys before. We shared with Newton at that time.
Because now that we have this agreement, if we have a boy that wanted to swim or dive, they'd have to go to
This
Yes,
one.
yep.
Yeah. Just curious if we had any interest for.
Yeah, not that I know
Not that I
of.
know, of, but
We
maybe we
could.
can make that more public that that's an option.
That's another option, yeah.
What is boys swimming season? Does anybody know?
It's
Is it-
during the same time that AA volleyball falls, so probably January, February, March. On
Spring,
Oh, yeah,
consider it spring.
I thought that was a fall sport.
No, I think it is too, because I remember somebody that was in a guy, and it was the same time we were in the volleyball team, that's
Oh,
what
yeah.
AAU.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is, must be like in March.
Yeah,
or April.
February, March. So there's already a lot of spring sports
Mhm.
at that point, so maybe it wouldn't be an issue really for boys, but.
This says, boys championships are February 11th and 12th.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be a little bit before.
So it probably is.
Maybe December, January, yeah. Maybe once the girls get done, then the boys.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve a cooperative agreement with Grinnell and BGM for swimming and diving?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? All in favor, aye. Those same sign. Cooperative agreement with Grinnell and BGM for swimming and diving is approved. Our next item is SBRC application for 2022.
So we just need to apply to get additional funding. Due to an increase in certified enrollment, specifically resident students and a slight increase in open enrollment out students, the board needs to take action requesting the modified supplemental amount of $11,120 in increased certified enrollment and $25,295 in open enrollment out. So a total of $36,415 for the current year. And so we have to approve that, and then we'll get on the Department of Ed's website and link the
Request
minutes. Yeah, that you approved it.
Any board members have any questions on that?
It's basically on-time funding rather than waiting.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the request for MSA for the current year? We have a motion. Do we have a second? All in favor, aye. Those same sign. Motion's approved to request the MSA for the current year.
We should probably do a roll call for that.
Okay,
I didn't put that in. Debbie Meyer,
Yes.
Colette Kunkel, Kim Tippy.
Yes.
Tom North.
yes. Okay, our next item is K-12 LAU or LAU plan for serving English language learners.
So this is something we do every year and it's the same plan we've had for several years. We currently have 0% ELL or English language learners. But if we were ever to get an English language student, we would need to have a plan of how we'd serve them. And so this is just our plan of how we serve them.
Board have any questions on our plan?
Appreciate Kim's proofreading. She noticed that it still said Jason in it. So I found that and switched it out. So Zach, you're in it now.
We have a motion to approve the 2022-2023 K-12 LAU plan as presented.
So
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
sorry, second, I was super
I was
quiet.
gonna say, it's my last meeting. Don't let it die for lack of a second. So that's fine.
Just trying to change it up a little.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye. Pose same sign. Motion's approved to approve our 2022-2023 K-12 LAU plan for serving English language learners. It doesn't look like we have any open enrollment business this evening. So we'll move into our personnel. Yeah, if you want to go over,
Sure.
Michael.
So we are gonna approve a contract with some reimbursement for Lindsay Bethards to be a bus driver for us. She was willing to go take the class. And so, we're gonna pay her a stipend of $850, but half this year and half next year as just a reimbursement for the cost of the class. And then she's agreed to drive for us for at least 2 years, hopefully for much longer. But I can promise you that Deb is quite excited to have a bus driver. And poor Lindsay was kind of cutting her teeth today and yesterday on the
Oh,
little bit snow and ice. So I'm like, well, if she doesn't quit, you can only go up from here, right? But she's done great and we're so thankful that she's willing to take that on for us.
so she'll be driving one of the route buses?
Yeah, I think, is it the one that
carries.
Carrie's been doing,
Which
he's
we
just
did
been
post.
filling in for us.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. And then Kyle Stribe as a volunteer head boys basketball coach or high school basketball coach. And Mr. Hasselbrink has asked for him to be able to help with that. And he's doing a great job. He was there at the parent meeting the other night and Mr. Hasselbrink's quite happy with him. Kristen Culp as assistant high school girls track. Katie Petermeyer as high school assistant softball and Carter Nelson as assistant high school baseball.
I love it when our students come back.
When did you graduate? With Sadie?
He was a
Oh,
year.
Sadie, okay.
20?
Yep.
Who's Kristen Cole?
Is she that younger gal from like College Girl?
Yes,
Um,
I've heard about her.
like a good,
I can't remember if she's like a jumper or a height. I don't know. There's like a specialty that she brings to.
okay. I don't know if she's the one one of them came to our door instead of Scott's door or Angie's door. And so I walked her down and chit chatted. I don't know if it's this gal, but she was the one I chatted with was really sweet. I'm
I was
excited.
just wondering how we.
I don't know how they advertised it. I don't know if she's out on Teach Iowa or.
We have a constant ad out on Teach Iowa and we just go out and update for all of our vacancies and then we just update them as they become filled or available.
But she's not a teacher here.
No. I don't, well, she's not a teacher here. I think this gal's maybe still in college. Was the one I'm thinking of.
Okay,
But I'm not, I shouldn't even say that. I don't know.
okay, I was just curious.
You could follow up this guy.
Carter Nelson is pitching for the Dutch, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is Paula.
Board have any other questions on the new contracts? Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the contracts as presented? We have a second.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Both same sign. Contracts are approved as presented. We'll move into facilities, grounds, and transportation. So Mike Luncheon, I think we had those in our packet, the
Yeah, the
bids from
bids.
tree services for the rec complex.
Yeah, so I had, John had noticed that a bunch of the ash, several different kinds, it looks like there's 47 small ash, 7 pines and 5 larger ash trees that all, are dying. So they need to be removed, which is, it's sad, but it has to take place. So we had, Bill get 3 quotes and Ledford, tree company, I guess, tree service out of Marshalltown had the best bid or the cheapest bid. So I recommend we go with them.
Or have any questions or discussion on those?
What was the total on that? Really,
That one was, gosh, I think it was 60. Let's see,
is the one-
6,100.
Is the only one in here? Only one in here, the one from DW Tree Service? No. Oh.
Wait, actually, that's that. So that's 6,000, 8,000, 9,100. 9,100.
Then the other two.
Right? 2,000, 6,000.
Three.
Seven.
Yeah. 61.
I think it's 80. It's 9,100.
And I think what they're doing is they just took that total because they've done that.
Oh, they done.
The 7 pine trees were 1,100, 5 larger ash trees were 2,000,
Oh,
and the 47 small ash trees along the south side were 3,000.
Okay, so it's 6,100.
61.
Okay, I thought it was 6,100, but then I just saw that bottom
Okay.
3,000, thought maybe I'd missed that.
Yeah, no, I think
Okay.
how they did it,
And the other ones were, one of the bids was 12,500 and the other one was 11,650. So it was about $5,000 cheaper than this next closest and about $6,000 cheaper than the other. So that's why we're going with that one.
is there a plan or any discussion about replacing trees?
So I don't know that there's a plan yet, but in the past, Mr. Vaughn has been really good about applying for a grant. And it's called Trees for Kids, that's it. And so then we pay for it and then they'll reimburse us for it. So,
And they're
it hasn't been done yet, so.
trees?
Well,
they did
decent
the-
size.
It's on Earth Day, right?
Yes,
They do it.
Yeah, they're not like,
Not- not-
they're,
I think trees for kids might be the ones that are that I think is the one that is the little tiny baby trees. And then each kid gets sent home as in 3rd grade or whatever with a little tree.
yeah.
It might be something different, but like it's that Earth Day one
Yeah.
that we'll follow, because if we can get it covered, for sure.
Yeah.
Want to do that.
And I know that DNR has some grants available and, especially since the Duray show. And so, I would imagine.
and there's some smaller ones out, actually behind like the visitors on that south fence. At some point, there were evergreen trees put in there, and those are getting to be a nice size now, and actually. Those ash trees, it was kind of a deal where it was gonna be too crowded, so when those ash trees come out, I think those evergreens will be fine. You go to the east or to the west and to the east side, and then there was some smaller, and they're kind of like saplings and got a stick next to them, but I think over time, those will probably, mature, and those are kind of spaced in between those ash trees, so, I mean, it's not gonna be completely bare out there when they're removed, so, but there'll probably be spots to put some new ones in too.
Yeah, I had a guy come out and do some trimming on my pine trees, and I have like oaks in between them, and he told me that it's not good for them to be touching each other. That
Evergreens or?
so it goes evergreen oak, and they shouldn't be touching each other. They won't grow properly, or they'll quit growing, or so. That's probably what was happening out there with those ones. Yeah.
Any other questions or discussion? Do we have a motion to approve Ledford tree service as the low bid to remove the trees dead trees out at the sports complex.
Someone,
We have a motion. Do we have a second? A motion and a second. All in favor, aye. Pose same sign. Motion to approve the low bid of Ledford Tree Service for the removal.
when would they, is that something they do yet this fall, or is that?
Sure.
I think when I talked to Bill, I kind of asked him. Cause I rent that ground south, that I said after it freezes up
Oh, yeah.
would be a perfect time, to go in, so. I think that's how he approached it when he got bids from them, was once it froze up, and then it's easier, they don't have to. Drag them back over the chain link fence, they can just take them out through the fields.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it'll be this winter, yeah.
I'll give these to him tomorrow and he can call on them,
Mhm.
tell them that they've got the bid.
Okay, another item is our transportation mileage reimbursement.
Yeah, Julie and I were discussing this the other day and it's probably time. She said it's been at least 15 years because she doesn't remember it ever happening.
No,
She's been
it's
here.
always been.
So it's the going rate now is 62 cents a mile. And we're still using 31 cents a mile. That was the old rate from forever. It's just one of those things we didn't really look at until now. Gas prices are so expensive. We're like, we should probably check that out. So it seems like the right thing to do to approve the 62 cents, which is the current IRS.
Yeah, and I
rate.
mean, you don't have to go to the 62 cents. I just, that's just an easy way to. A guide for us. So.
Does that change, that IRS rate change?
It actually changed, twice this year, but normally no. Normally it stays, but in the volatile environment that we're in right now, it was, 58 cents for the first 6 months, and then they just raised it to 62.
Does it usually stay like for a couple of years?
Yeah.
So is it something that instead of putting in a rate, could we just say? Use the
Equal to-
IRS?
Yeah,
you could say
Then you
equal
just,
to.
just
It
follow it.
would be better, I mean, I'm fine with the
Yeah.
price, but I was just wondering, yeah, if that changes, if we should just match whatever the
Yeah,
IRS.
And
rate
if we're
is.
gonna do that, I would like to say that it equal to on January 1st of each year, so that
Sure,
if
so
it happens to
we're-
change 6 times,
Yeah,
that
Yeah.
year, we're just stuck with the one until the following year. I'm perfectly fine with that.
So
How many miles, Michael, you probably use your personal vehicle, this,
It's usually the principals, going back and forth to their meetings.
do we have school vehicles? I guess what I'm thinking is. Like when I worked for the government, there was a rate, and then there was like a lower rate if there was a government vehicle available.
So if they
To-
use one of. our
And they wanted to
vehicles-
use their own, and.
Yeah, if there's a school vehicle available, they're welcome to take it. Sometimes they choose not to for logistics or things like that.
And I'm thinking is it, we use our vans quite a bit, so
So-
is there a school
Sometimes
vehicle?
there is.
Yeah.
Even more so now because we don't have the bus drivers, we have 3 vans going somewhere
Out on the
after
route.
school every day. On the routes, that's not even sports. And so we are using our 4th van and the Suburban sometimes. After school and things like that. So if they were, which for the most part, it works out. If they were going to use a school vehicle, they would need to be back in time for a route. For the most part, they would be, but when our principals have to go clear up to Cedar Falls,
Right.
for a principals meeting, that may not happen.
Hey, any other discussion on that? How's the board feel about this tying it to the IRS rate, so it's always current?
Effective each year on January 1st.
Yeah, so we want to make that motion.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, we have a motion, do we have a second?
Mhm.
All in favor, aye. Pose same sign. Motion's approved to tie our mileage reimbursement rate to the IRS rate as of January 1st of every year. Okay, superintendent's report.
Okay, I just added a couple bullets as we were sitting here, but I know, I always think of stuff as we're sitting here. The CTT, that means the collaborative team time. I just wanted to highlight that when Zach was talking, it made me think about this. So one of the things our CIA team, which is our curriculum instruction assessment team, which is me, Rob, Zach, Wendy, or Dr. Anderson, Dennis Vaughn and Marie. You can just call it the CIA team. Just call it the CIA team. Call it the CIA team. So one of the things we've started doing on Monday mornings is as the teachers are having their collaborative time, you know, let's say the two first grade teachers are paired together and they're working, looking at data. We've been going in and observing to see how it's going. What are they working on and what are they doing well? And then what things do they maybe need to get some more professional development around? And they tell us things like, we don't know how to do this, or we need help with this. And I've just been so impressed. I sat in on a couple elementary ones Monday, and it was, they were using the stuff that they had learned when Zach had that guy, Matt Treadway. He came, I don't know, a month or so ago. Solution Tree guy came and talked with them about how to improve their math. And then to see that PD from, you know, a month or so ago being implemented right there, the teachers were talking about, they were looking, like I watched one group of teachers go and talk to another grade level above them to say, what are you doing? How are you teaching this thing so that we can figure out how to do it together? And I was just so pleased with the way our teachers were working together and they were digging in and trying to improve instruction for our kids. I just couldn't not highlight that. So I just kudos to our teachers, especially I happen to sit on elementary. I'm sure secondary are doing wonderful things too, but I just happen to see the elementary ones. And I was just so pleased with the work they're doing. Next up, let's see. CSTAG. So today we had a team that did can't remember what that stands for, Comprehensive School Threat Assessment Guidelines or something like that. Anyway, it's a professor from the University of Virginia that is an expert in threat assessment. And it's ironic that University of Virginia just had that shooting this week. And so we have a team now of 5 of us that were trained in how to do threat assessments. So you can go from things from like, you know, a non-threat or a very minimal threat, like somebody was just frustrated and said something that they shouldn't have, all the way up to like a very, very serious threat. And so now we have a research-based, data-driven decision template to use rather than just going on our gut. You know, not that we just went on our gut, but now we have an actual, you know, research-based plan. This is how you should do these things. And so it's really, really reassuring that we have a team of 5. So it doesn't matter if Zach happens to be out of the building and there's something that needs to be, you know, gone through. There's a whole other group of people who could step in and help do the threat assessment. And so it just really fit in nicely with some of the safety things what we're doing now. And there was a lot of talk about just not so much punitive, but how to distinguish between kids that it's a cry for help and kids who are very much in crisis and could do something. So it was great training. It was, some of it was intense because it was 2 levels and like it was what's that, like 6 hours of online the first time, like CSTAG level 1 training. You had to have that done and you had to pass a test before you could take the training today. And so we were all like stressing out because it's been a long time since we actually had to take a test that mattered. Like you had to get 80% or higher on this test. And so, but we all did. So we were all able to go to the training. And then we had this training today then that took the stuff that we had learned on the online class. And then it was like a Zoom with this professor. And then there was people from, we were in the training, and then PCM and some schools from Illinois, Indiana, and then some from Canada. There were, and just all over the place. There was just several groups that then they talked through some scenarios, and then we had to practice actually using the book or the guidance. And it was really, really good stuff. So anyway, we did that today.
When you do like a threat assessment, is it Do you document it then,
Yes.
and then it becomes part of the record
It-
somewhere?
yeah.
or-
Because if you didn't document it, you didn't do it. That was their thing. And actually, I should say also, Chief Daggett was on our team as well. So he's part of the team, just that has the same training now. So they talked about how you document and different ways that, and then, Bree, who's one of our tech people, was also on our team. So we talked through some of those, we make like a special Google folder, or do we somehow link it to JMC? So, keeping it confidential, so only the eyes that need to see it can see it. But the eyes that need to see it also need to be able to find it. And there should be a paper trail, or even if it's a digital paper trail, showing that we are taking things seriously and what we've done. And so it was really interesting training. And then to kind of tie right into that, or any questions about that? To tie right into that, then we also had our Homeland Security visit. And so they came the day of conferences, the Thursday of conferences. So it was intense. It started at 8 a.m. and it went till like 5. It was all day. But we were the trainer's first one, so that made it a little trickier. He was wonderful, but it was slow and steady. So I'm sure his other ones aren't maybe quite so tedious, but anyway, he said it'd take about 3 weeks to get the report back. And so once we get that, then we can get moving forward on some of those improvements we were talking about. So some of the ideas we talked about, entrances that are more secure. They really loved this entrance, how you have to go up the stairs, where there was like a barrier between like a car that could hit it. And they loved over here how we have those solid benches, and at the down by the main gym. So they were like the elementary entrance, we need to do something. So that'll probably, that'll cost some money to kind of strengthen that entrance. And then they were really into, they wanted to know everywhere we had cameras and everywhere we had dead spots. And so we went around and took pictures of literally everything.
So did they
So-
get recommendations?
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
what's coming in the 3 weeks, which should be right around any time now. So they'll give recommendations of things that they see, but then we can also do other things, or if we just completely disagree with something that they said, we can, but I mean, they're Homeland Security experts, so we probably won't want to disagree too much with them. But that we have options, and so it'll be really interesting to get the report back from them.
So do they know how much we got in a grant, and they kind of,
I think they give us all sorts of recommendations. So we are for sure gonna get $100,000. Like the DE was, I went round and round with them. I even, contacted the director, and she actually, Dr. Lebo, like emailed me directly, and she's like, she appreciates my passion, but rules are rules. And so it's really based on your beds codes from last spring. And so there was nothing that we could do to get that changed to show 4 buildings instead of 2. So we're gonna get $100,000, but still $100,000 is fabulous. It's better than nothing, or better than only $50,000. So we'll take it. We're thankful for it. But there was just, I do appreciate Dr. Lebo taking the time to respond back to my inquiries.
But we have changed our bed codes
Yes,
now going forward, so
yeah, so we
if
did.
there's a second round
Yeah.
that we might.
So Julie and I got in there and we changed them up, and they're like,
yeah,
that's,
that's not done easily.
yeah, yeah.
Now you have to code all of your expenditures to middle school and to preschool, but great. So like on your monthly, right now we have elementary, secondary. Now we'll have preschool, elementary, middle school, secondary.
Well, if there's round 2, we'll be,
We're
we'll be
ready.
set.
We'll
We
be
will be
ready.
set. So,
And it'll more accurately reflect the way we are.
really, it really
I mean,
will.
Look, we never had a middle school until
Yeah, it really.
8 or
should
10
have
years
happened.
ago, and the preschool was just
And
a year ago.
we shouldn't be penalized because we have one building.
One building,
Yeah.
right, one physical
You know,
structure.
We're actually, more-
These are all my arguments.
but they're like, yeah, that's nice.
No, that's the.
I appreciate your passion.
But no,
No, the answer's still no. Okay,
Appreciate your time.
yeah, I tried, yeah.
Yep.
We weren't listening to it until Dr. Lee.
Yeah, finally Angela was like, no, okay, she's bounced about. But, and then we had a SiAC meeting, oh gosh, was it last week, Zach? 2 weeks ago?
This was, yeah.
And
Yeah, last week.
it's just, yeah, it kind of all runs together. It was really good. We got some great feedback from the people there, and Wendy or Dr. Anderson just does such a nice job with that. So she led it, and then we did some little kind of groups activities, and we had students here. We did find out there was kind of some glitch in the emails because like some people weren't like you could see where Wendy had sent out the emails to people, and then they didn't get it, and then she replied again, like, thanks so much for coming, and some of the people were like, what did I, like, they got the reply, but they didn't get the first one. We don't know quite what happened, so there was a handful of people that are on the committee and were invited, but didn't realize that they were invited, so, but the people that were there did a great job of just, being interactive, and, we talked, I can't even think about some of the things we talked about. What did we talk about, Zach? We went through the conditions of learning, some of that, and then the district profile or the report card. And I talked about some of that with people, and then asked for just ways to improve, feelings of safety for like community and students and staff. And Wendy got some great feedback about how to improve communication and just different ideas. I mean, and people, honestly, they said, instead of being only an hour, could we make it 75 or 90 minutes? Well, gosh, who like wants a longer meeting? But I mean, they find it valuable. If they find it valuable, and the kids that we had did such a great job. I mean, they were just so articulate. So we had, how do you say parents left? Perrin, Goldsley, Sammy Irwin. Nicole Bunzy. Was it just those three?
Andy Seelover,
No,
all high school.
all high school.
What were some of the things the students had to say? I know they're all-
Well, okay, so one of the things they talked about that I thought was really eye-opening was the Be Awesome cards. And how they said they love when the teachers like mailed them home,
Oh,
and
yeah.
how important that was to them.
Yeah,
And
that is really special.
and then I was like, well, yeah, I mean, we have them like on our fridge for, years ago, and then the kids have saved them. And so, and they said, is that something that we could get more of those, and could kids send them to each other? Like, of course, that's a great idea. So just even things like that. And gosh, what were some of the,
Was it really
It was
damaging?
Julie Damon.
Julie Damming, yes, it was. Okay, yeah, thank you. And she was, so sweet, just a great girl too. What were some of the other stuff they talked
We
about?
really spent the bulk of our time looking at the conditions of learning, and letting them analyze our data of elementary and high school, and kind of go through it, and kind of come up with ideas of why we were maybe ranked or our percentages were that way, and
Mhm.
talked about ways that we could maybe counteract some of those percentages, and they came up with great ideas. It was great to hear their idea. I mean, truly, you said it, they're articulate. It was truly impressive for me in the elementary world to see, we had some of these kids, and it's like, yeah, I mean, something's right here, because they are talking and doing the right thing. So it was cool.
So, and I can ask Wendy, we can summarize it and then share that stuff with you guys. But it was just really good, and they want to meet more often. So, I mean, really legally, we only have to meet once a year, but we have been meeting twice a year, and they're saying, we find these valuable. So if people want to participate and be a part of our district, then absolutely, we love the idea of it. So we'll get, some more on the calendar. It's just tricky because calendars get so busy. So this was kind of the sweet spot in between fall sports and winter sports. And so we can sneak one in. And then last thing, two more things. So don't forget, we have the convention, the school board convention tomorrow. Looking forward to learning with you guys. And then just so for everybody, like in the Zoom, and Sue, just so you know that December board meeting is gonna be moved from the 21st to the 14th. So it'll be the second Wednesday instead of the third Wednesday, because on the 21st, that's the first day of winter break, and so we dismissed school at one that day. And so people will be scooting out of here for Christmas, and so we don't want to make you guys, any of us, stick around or come back, so we're just gonna move it up to the 14th. So
What time are we leaving tomorrow?
We need to be leaving by 7, otherwise we have to,
It starts at 8, doesn't it?
yeah.
is the keynote at 9? Is there like a first session at 8? Is that like the opening?
That's when they have the kids.
The pledge and all
different
that stuff,
schools
okay.
Come in and sing and, but the issue is trying to find a table. I mean,
Oh,
you know, we walk in when we do and we're like clear on the back of 40.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind, but you just have to walk through all those.
okay. Go home. and
That's
get-
not,
Yeah,
you better get to bed.
I know, I'm like, we need to wrap this up, adjourn. I need to go home and get to bed.
We usually leave at 7.
Yeah, 7 is fine. So, and the car's already out front and
Yep.
the keys are
Central office.
central office. I'm hoping, Sean, you might want to drive. I hate driving that big giant thing. It feels like driving a semi.
Your last. Girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's see if I can get a speeding ticket.
So, and then we'll be for dinner at Bee's place. What time do we?
I
say?
told them we'd be there around 5-ish.
Okay, I just need to tell Trent and the husband. Yeah.
Yeah, the exciting stuff, I guess. So, I mean, they're open before that, so.
Okay, well, we can just tell your spouses that can come around 5 or so. And then, yeah, so I guess that's about it. Things are going well. I can't believe it's shockingly like almost Thanksgiving, and then next thing you know, we're gonna make Christmas break and,
Really,
yeah.
they'll be done by.
Yeah, really, we were just planning for PD for back to school, and now it's Thanksgiving, so.
Your board members have anything? Like when you're good?
I'm good, yeah.
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? All in favor, aye. Pose same sign. Meeting's adjourned.
8 AM is doing what's best for the students, walking the talk.